Hi there. Um, my name is Ben Keat, and I'm just going to make this video to talk to you primarily, King Charles. Congratulations on your new appointment. I hope my email didn't detract from that congratulations, but I just wanted a few points of business ordered before we started. But anyway, um, yes, I think the problem with this country, I have no issue with the people. They're great. You go out and meet people, especially in county, Gloucestershire. Great people, salt of the earth, and all classes merging and mingling as one. I have no problem with that, and that's great in our county, and that's my experience of this country. That's the way I consider the people of this country to be. If Gloucester is the melting pot of what is to be in the future. So no, I have no problem with the uh, general people as individuals in this country. What you do find, though, however, sadly, in the tech world, in the sort of artisan basis of what our tech industry in this country is a certain kind of snobbishness. Snob, I haven't been drinking, all right. Snobbishness with various members of the IT community. So, um, someone like me comes in from some kind of space program operation that has been a spiritual odyssey and all this sort of Christian born again stuff that goes through total immersion, all that sort of thing. And I get into the tech world because I want to implement my creation in some way, shape, or form. And what I found when I started to work in the domain of the tech world and started to put websites out there and start to build up my creation, and if you like, technify something that had been a massive blowout of universal fluff and creation for the last 20 years or 10 years as it was back then. And I started to work in very off the wall ways. My father's Verbat or word came to me as a kind of runic Germanic language um, that I actually just literally put into text boxes in the websites I was creating at the time and implemented strategies to heal cancer, to do things to improve systems, and ultimately formulate a system that could actually pass at least 200, 250 channels through my television aerial. And this was literally one of these things on a wire, like a little sort of coat hanger hanging on the wall. And I could get 200, 250 channels through this no problem. Um, so that this was the proof that my system was working. However, it was very, very hard to monetize it and make it possible. But I was being derided in the tech community by people with this snobbish British attitude that seems to say that if you're not part of their gang or you don't understand their digital hieroglyphic nature, then you are not one of them and you're not included in their system. But you're a very good object to be farmed and used in their rather repulsive AI system that I think they're setting up in London. A sort of deep mind thing that a lot of the global powers that be are actually putting a lot of oversight into because they fear it is an untamed beast waiting to be launched upon the world. I think a lot of people in the tech world in this country are very minimal in their views, very artisan in their the way they structure and format their arguments, and finally a little bit too safe in their own skin to make everything as they're taught. And less of the self-taught emphasis, which is where I'm coming from. I've learned a lot in the tech world. Since my father's death, when I started to move into hardware and the industrialization of what I was doing in the servers and all that sort of thing. But in the process of learning this, I've continued to use my off the wall basis of creating technology. Now, obviously, I don't still use runes, I use command style language, and I've got various ways of implementing strategies through a more synquated, as I describe it, method of implementing this runic architecture from below to structure the whole platform of this cosmic reality of Enoch, which is basically ultimately the whole system is literally a communication system linking up universal IP addresses. I've created an IPv XYZ network, which basically means sky's the limit on how long or how whereabouts this IP address can access within the universe. And gradually, through a slow process of finally developing my own operating system, if you like, and my own way of doing things in the virtual world, I've been able to link up to these aspects in the universal pleroma. That this locality of Gloucestershire is the duality of. So my whole thing with spacetm.uk, just to, if that's confusing you or any of that is difficult to understand, it's quite simply just to say that the duality of the universal exotics, the universal space realities, are implementing themselves in the build up, the connection between what was the all and what is now the Bellows, the whole continuation of the eon cycle through the ages of man, through 12 ages of man, if you like, as we come into the tech world and the cyber world and move out of, say, a virtual hell into something that, or a virtual more like a virtual, the sort of process between heaven and hell, purgatory, into something that is more in line with a universal paradise, and the dolce vita, the sweet waters to be tasted after all the bitter waters of time. So the whole process of Space Jam is just lifting us out of something that is we're in the dark edges still in terms of how close to becoming a spacefaring civilization we are, and turn us into something that can instantaneously put us on the map of the universe and start to implement strategies to become, part of the universal community, which is vital and something I believe in greatly. I think a lot of people write off the possibility of us ever coming in contact with aliens. Well, partially, we may not know that we have already, because most extraterrestrials will be from the planet Earth originally. That is the viewpoint that we have colonized the universe throughout time through various strategies, including time travel at a later date, which will make it possible to structure and divide up the universe from the 12 levels of heaven as we approach them, as they go up the pole of the universal infrastructure to ultimately New Jerusalem, which would be 16th heaven, if you like, on a new heaven and a new earth. So it's far-reaching and it's in depth, and it's a lot of people think it's crazy and something that'll never happen. But what I found, contrary to the locality, the viewpoint of the British tech revolution in inverted commas, which is mostly funded by Muslim individuals who, pretty much, they got quite good brains, but they don't really have the scope or the overall general view of how things work in creative ops. Like I say, the artisan, the whole structure, the whole way creation works is implying things. You imply things, you suggest things, you offer choices when options are given to structure and create things. Ultimately, when you imply and offer choices and you structure and create things in such a way, there is actually only one choice that is acceptable and works, and that is the way the thing formulates. This is a kind of industrial engineering counterintuition to the way we work in creative ops and the way we implement strategies to set up the reality of the particle arc web infrastructure, which is the era where we are now. So we're moving out of the digital era after 22 years, and we're moving into the particle arc web infrastructure, which is a phenomenon I've set up and designed. You can read about that on my Umoz's website, which is on the LinkedIn website, also on the Space TM brochure. I've written an article about Powie on there, so people can view the potential and the reasons why we're doing such a thing. Primarily, to cut a long story short, we're bypassing the biometric storage of data in microchips and moving something that is streamlined through a torsion network that links up living species and beings of light to interconnect with each other and to interface with each other. Basically, it's a plug in and play type reality where all you have to do is turn up at your platform, your computer, or whatever you're using, and just start working on it, and your whole aura, your data aura, is mapped onto it instantly, just by touching the machine. That's the kind of levels we're moving towards it in what would only be workable in a space in a space colonizing situation. In the whole process of journeying into space, I think NASA are finding, it's very limited what the Earth can actually implement and structure. We need slightly more cyber-generated realities where things start to manifest themselves much more quickly in order to achieve the capabilities of having a whole fleet of our own in order to start these missions, even as far as Mars, with exotic technologies that will mean we'll have capabilities to go far beyond this solar system and ultimately strike out on our own as our own for a team of angels, if you like, in the conquest of the universe, and the sharing out of what belongs to who. It's time to make our claim as a planet. And Eumosrus and Ea or Ina is the fundamental structure that I'm putting forward to you and the rest of the world to start up as a platform for launching the space program. I think in the 16th century and 17th century, people believed angels had fluffy wings and came down like doves to bestow reality on what was the human race then. I think now people are waking up to the fact that this is just a descriptive reality of what extraterrestrials and other beings are, and how the Anunnaki themselves come and formulate their realities next to us here on Earth in Gloucestershire, and how we implement the next strategy to creating something more beautiful and more perfect and more in line with what is already here, the existing ethos of this county, the beautiful countryside and everything else. Because that is what we're here. That's what we like. We're all country people. We want to be part of that. We attract those types of people to this county, and most people get the ambiance and what we've been setting up here for some time now in this county. So yeah, that's just a little bit about my views on the existing structure and how we are breaking through it, and we're slowly getting people to believe in things as they start to come into place. And just a quick word on what we're achieving so far. So on spacetm.uk, we've got a new tech business which sets up gateways for people to simply put DNS onto their system, use the facilities that the system offers in UI basis, user interface basis, and interact with the channels and the lifebook and everything on that. That's the plan over the forthcoming few months. But also we're moving into data. So we have had success in our preliminary tests with data to enable 60 megabits per second plus on mobile data. Now that is no mean feat. That is a huge success if we can implement that and study that and make that a permanent thing, an abundant source of creative reality through the SpaceTM program. That would be massive. And your help in letting us achieve this by taking off, existing shackles and allowing us the licenses in order to do the tests in the first place, in order to implement this, we will roll that out at a very, very low price comparatively to the speeds and power of existing data. We'll roll that out and we'll make that something that is like water, something that is fairly cheap to the basic living costs, and something that is extremely useful, certainly for the county initially and the whole program of Eumosrus, but ultimately the whole collective. So yes, we're having issues with the local snobbishness of the IT community. Primarily the sort of Muslim types who want everything artisan and everything to read back without there being any magic in it, because they're not creative ops, they're just artisans, these people. And when the snobbishness is overridden and licenses are granted for us to trial our endeavors and our scientific experiments, there will be a lot more phenomena unleashed through the gateways and other things, including this mobile phone data, to make things better for all concerned. So if you could help us with this, we'd be much appreciated here at SAFCOMS and Eumosrus, and naturally, we'll make it worth the while of the public and anyone who chooses to use our systems, primarily because they are not going to be sold at vastly expensive rates. They're going to be extremely competitive, even overly competitive, because some of the aspects of what we're doing is leading us to the next phases of getting the whole platform of Umozzle set up. So thank you very much for listening, King Charles, and congratulations again on your appointment. I hope you continue in the same way that you started as Prince Charles, Prince of Wales before, and we hope that between you and I and the county and everyone else where we live here in Gloucestershire, we can continue to forge forward in terms of progress and not worry too much about the chattels and the taxation and all that sort of thing, and move into a method where we can start to incentivize contribution and that sort of thing, and enable people to continue to move towards in progress while at the same time caring for the planet in ways that we can also and are definitely involved in offering solutions for. So thank you for listening, and I look forward maybe to having a meeting with people around you or people connected to you who may be able to start to strategize and implement plans to get this set up over the course of the forthcoming years. Okay, all the best. God bless you. Take care. Bye bye.